Welcome into the first Southside 60 podcast, a podcast I will be doing after every series finale to recap the series and take a look at the season so far. Unlike the game recaps, these podcasts will be based solely on my opinion of how the White Sox are doing at this point in the season. So, our first topic today is the series finale last night against the Brewers. It was a tough game. That's all I've got to say. It was kind of annoying to watch. We're supposed to be one of the top offensive teams of this MLB season, and we can only score 3 runs, and not even the Leury Garcia scored or was responsible for most of our runs last night. If I told you at the beginning of this season that Leury Garcia was going to be tied for leading the team in home runs, you'd tell me I was absolutely crazy with guys like Jose Abreu, Eloy Jimenez, Luis Robert, Yasmani Grandal, Nomar Mazara on this team. But he is tied at 3 with Eloy Jimenez for the most home runs for the White Sox. But let's take a look at the series as a whole. We won the first 2 games in Milwaukee, which was great. I loved seeing those games. They were exciting games. They lasted forever. That was the only problem I had with them. I felt like I was never going to go to sleep. But they were great games. Yes. First game was 6-4, which extended the win streak to 5. And if you take a look at that game, everybody hit. Pretty much everybody that got into the game, other than Eloy. Eloy kind of had a bad night. He had 1 walk, so he did reach base. But everybody had hits that game. We had an amazing amount of offense. We had some good pitching, other than the fact, Carlos Rodon only made it 2 innings. He is now on the injured list, along with Nick Madrigal and Tim Anderson, who is rehabbing in Schaumburg. But Matt Foster comes in, and wow, does Matt Foster look good. Matt Foster looks great out of the bullpen. Jace Fry also looking good. Now, the only guy I have a problem with out of the bullpen right now is Steve Cishek. He could possibly be the worst bullpen member in the White Sox bullpen. It's every time he comes in, it seems like he gives up runs. He comes into that game and he gives up 1 run and he only pitched an inning off 3 hits. He had no strikeouts. Another guy on the team that has actually looked good in the bullpen, Ross Detwiler. Last year we had him up. We had him starting. We had him in the starting rotation. And it was painful to watch. But this year, it is great to see Ross Detwiler coming out of the bullpen and shutting guys down. I think this was the game where he lost his... No, I'm sorry. He had retired his first 15 batters that he had seen, and then he had only seen 15 batters and retired 16 guys because before getting an out at the plate, he picked somebody off at first base. That's just a Ross Detwiler thing, apparently, in 2020. Alex Colomé comes in and scares us all, as usual. Late inning heroics are not for him. He apparently has to give White Sox fans a scare. We'll go to the next game, which was another White Sox win, of course. The one that put the winning streak to 6, the 3-2 win against the Brewers. This game, not as great. Eloy Jimenez had those 3 hits, which I believe were the 2 infield singles and then a line drive. He scored once, so, looking good, 2 RBIs. And then Jose Abreu had the other RBI, which was this was the game with the Eloy Jimenez home run straight to center field, which was blasted out there. If you haven't seen it, please go look it up. It is a great home run. Also the game that Nick Madrigal gets hurt in, which is something we need to talk about. He has been placed on the injured list with a separated left shoulder. Luckily, not his throwing arm. So Rick Hanna said that he could possibly be back for at the end of August. But he may require a procedure later in the offseason, which at this point, Nick Madrigal, I almost want to say we can do without him having to come back and rush his recovery. I feel bad to have him come back in a 60-game season and rush back into it with a separated shoulder that at some point is most likely going to need a procedure done, and that scares me because he's one of the top prospects in our in our White Sox organization, and it scares me that we want to rush him right back into it when we have solid guys that can take his spot. Larry Garcia is not bad in the infield. And once Tim Anderson comes back, you can move him over to second base, or if you'd like, you can move Danny Mendick over, who, has been playing really well in the last couple games. But I think if you don't want to rush Nick Madrigal back, you can definitely just have him, stay down in Schaumburg, or just get the procedure done now. That way he can start rehabbing during the season and be ready to go for spring training next year. Or, depending on how they want to go with it, if you feel the need to bring him back, like I said, it's not his throwing arm. It may just affect his hitting a little, but after rehab, he should be looking better after some treatment. I don't know. In my opinion, I would keep him down. I would give him another. Let him decide. If he wants to do the procedure now, let him do the procedure now. If he doesn't want to risk any further injury, because that's what you're doing with bringing him back, you're risking further injury. But anyways, Edwin Encarnacion also got hurt there. I believe it was shoulder soreness. He was not placed on the IL. He has not played a game since that injury, though, which kind of concerns me. But I think we've used his spot at DH pretty well. I like the idea. Dallas Keuchel gets James McCann to catch for him. They were college teammates, and Yasmani gets the DH spot. Or last night's game where Zach Collins had the DH spot. I don't agree with that as much. I think we can have, at this point in time, if we're not going to hit Edwin in the DH spot and we're not going to hit James McCann or / Yasmani Grandal, depends on who's catching, put Eloy there. Put Eloy in the DH spot. Last night he had that weird fall into the outfield netting. There's got to be a different option in left field. If I get it with this team, there's multiple guys that need at bats. You don't want your catcher from last year, who was an all-star, James McCann, to just sit on the bench and play one game a week with catching Dallas Keuchel. I don't want to see that either. James McCann is one of my favorite players on this team, and I don't want to see him just sitting on the bench and maybe coming in for 1-2 games a week. But if you have the ability to DH Eloy Jimenez, get him out of left field, there's better options in left field. If you, like I said earlier, if we were going to keep Nick Madrigal down, you move Danny Mendick to second and you put Larry Garcia in left field. Larry Garcia is a good outfielder. There's options. There's no reason to have Eloy stuck out in left field when we can DH him and have a quality left fielder who, one, isn't afraid of the wall, and two, will probably make better plays. It's concerning because Eloy Jimenez is such a great hitter for the White Sox. For the next however many years he's signed for, he can lead the team in home runs and RBIs. Depending on I don't know, Luis Robert might pan out to be the greatest player to ever play the game of baseball and lead the team in stolen bases, home runs, RBIs, hits, at bats, walks. Lead the team in least amount of strikeouts, stuff like that. It's Luis Robert. He has the potential to be one of the greatest players to ever pick up a baseball. But I think DHing Eloy could be a good idea. I don't want to see him get hurt now out in the outfield. He's not a natural outfielder. He's a natural hitter. One of the things that I saw last night in the final game with the Brewers was there were way too many strikeouts. If I pull this up, I just want to make sure I get the numbers right. We lost 8-3. Like I said in the start, Larry Garcia was really the only guy who was able to hit the ball well. For the Brewers, Josh Lindblom had 7 strikeouts. Peralta had 6, and he only pitched 3 innings. And Eric Yardley had 1 when he pitched the final inning. That's concerning. I get it. These guys, we're going to have probably more strikeouts as a team this year than we have in previous years because so many guys on this team swing the bat very well, and they're going to try to make pitches go somewhere, not just hit for contact. These guys are going to try to hit the ball over the wall. We're trying to keep up with the Twins. That's the whole idea of this. But I think too many strikeouts is concerning. That's 14 strikeouts in a game where there's 27 outs. That means 13 of those outs, less than half of those outs were in the field. That means more than half of them were at the plate, which is a problem. We're supposed to be one of the best offenses. You're not going to be a good offense when you're striking out 14 times at the plate. That's just my opinion. I mean, I get it. Some of these guys, Luis Robert, young guy, but he struck out 4 times last night. That concerns me. I mean, we had six hits last night, and Leury Garcia had 2 of them with the home run, and then I think they counted the center field error by Ben Gamel. I guess they didn't count it as an error; they counted it as a hit, even though it bounced right off of his glove. So he gets a little free get out of jail free card there. But I think Leury Garcia should not be the guy leading us in hits in a baseball game. We had opportunities. Zach Collins, I believe it was in the 5th inning, came up to the plate with 2 guys on and blasted a ball out to right center field, caught right at the wall. Another 5 feet would have been gone to tie up the game. I think the weather had a good deal with it. It's not been warm. It has not been warm in Chicago. It is, last night I think Jason Benetti and Steve Stone are talking it's 65, 70 degrees by the time Zach Collins got up to the plate for that hit out to the wall. 10 degrees warmer, that ball could have traveled a little farther. Stuff like that. Also the fact I don't think Zach Collins, he's a good hitter, but I don't think he's the guy who we should be relying on to get RBIs, to hit runners in. It's concerning. Let's take a look at the standings for this season so far. The White Sox are in 2nd place in the AL Central. I'm sorry, in 3rd place because the Indians won last night. So they are in 3rd place. We play the Indians tonight, which is good. We could jump back up into 2nd place and be able to squeeze our way in there, make a little room. We're 3 games back from the Twins, who are 10-3. What I think the White Sox need to do, they need to win these next 3 games, or at least 2 out of 3 of the next games against the Cleveland Indians, and they'll be set. That'll really help them here with a good boost, because after them I believe we play the Tigers and then we play the Cardinals and back to the Tigers. Tigers are going to be should be series wins, series sweeps preferably, but you never know. You can't win every game. But we need to take care of these Indians. The pitching matchups tonight is Dylan Cease versus I think they're 5 pitcher maybe. I'm sorry, Aaron Savali. So we've already seen Aaron Savali. He pitched very well against us, which is concerning. But I think seeing him the second time around should help us be able to hit him a little better, be able to make more contact, create plays in the outfield, create plays where the Indians have to mess up. In Game 2, which is tomorrow at 2:10, Zach Plezak's pitching for the Cleveland Indians. He's a hometown guy for me. Went to my high school, pitched at my high school. He's really good. I got to see his first pitch in Chicago last year. But the Sox have not named their starter. That's because Carlos Rodon, like I said earlier, had only pitched 2 innings in that first game against the Brewers. So that's the idea of who do we see come in. At this point in the season, the rosters have to be down to 28 active or 28 on the official team. So you've got guys, a lot of people are asking for Dane Denning to be called up. I like that idea. Dane Dunning is a pretty good pitcher. At the same time, I could see other guys from the bullpen being moved into being a starting pitcher. I think Matt Foster could be maybe not a 7-inning guy. It depends on how his endurance goes, how well he pitches. But one of the guys I think the Sox can use more often, because I think in tomorrow's game at 2:10 with the Indians, we're not going to throw a starter out there that's going to go 7. That might be a game where we have to throw a starter out there and he goes 4, and the bullpen has to pick up the rest. I think a young guy, Cody Hoyer, could possibly be one of the best guys out of the bullpen in the next couple seasons for the White Sox. The movement on his sinker when he's on the mound is crazy. He's throwing that thing at 97, 98 miles an hour, and that ball is moving across the plate and making guys just swing right past it. That is the best thing to see from a young pitcher. And knock on wood here, I don't want to see a Michael Kopech situation, but I keep his endurance up, let him pitch a few innings. I think tomorrow against the Indians, let him make those guys miss. He is a great pitcher to have right now on our team, and a guy that I hope we lock down for multiple years to come. Sorry, I'm trying to look up his stats here real quick. I think the best part about him, like I said earlier, is that his sinker. It just moves so much. I know I wouldn't. I mean, if you slowed it down so much too, I know I wouldn't even be able to hit it. He's throwing at a 1.69 ERA for a rookie. That is crazy. He's got a 0.56 WHIP, 7 strikeouts, only 3 hits, and only 1 earned run against him. No walks. There's not another time that I would not like to see this guy on the mound. There's games where I go, hey, let's put Cody Hoyer on the mound, and we bring in another guy from the bullpen, which is not even bad. We bring in Evan Marshall, and Evan Marshall said a couple days ago, guys were training this whole quarantine to hit fastballs, and I came out there and I'm not going to throw a fastball. I'm going to throw my changeup, and these guys are going to swing right past it, which has happened. He's throwing at, he's got a 0 ERA right now. He has thrown in 6 games, only 2 hits allowed, 2 walks, 10 strikeouts. That's the bullpen for the White Sox is our strongest category right now. Our hitting needs to get a little more help, and our starting pitching. I miss Kopech. I miss Michael Kopech, and I get it. He opted out of the season, which is perfectly fine. I get those concerns. But when he comes back next season, he's going to slide into probably being I'd assume our 4 guy. Dylan Cease might slide in to be the third guy in the rotation, and then I guess we get to decide between Reynaldo Lopez and Carlos Rodon, or hopefully we sign somebody better, or maybe even Gio Gonzalez to be able to get out there and lock it down for 6-7 innings next season when Kopech's finally back. But I think the bullpen is definitely our strongest feature of the White Sox organization right now. Hitting needs to get better, like I said. We can't strike out as much. That's the biggest thing, especially against these Cleveland Indians. They've got some really good pitchers that we're going to come up and face. In the third game against them, we'll be facing Shane Bieber. Shane Bieber is ranked second or third. Right? Yeah, second, right behind Jacob deGrom in pitcher power rankings. He's got one of the best starts to an MLB season with strikeouts, with something, I think 30-something already. It is going to be a good game to see him, Shane Bieber versus Lucas Giolito, to get out there. Yeah, he has 35 strikeouts, Shane Bieber. Lucas Giolito and Shane Bieber in the series finale against the Indians this week should be a great game. That'll be Sunday. Both teams, that might be a 0-0 game until the 9th inning. I'm not even going to lie. But that's what we're looking forward to. The Indians, some great pitching matchups. We got Dylan Cease on the mound tonight. Hopefully he gets back into those intra-squad game intra-squad game mode where he's striking guys out, making guys completely miss the ball, making them look foolish at the plate. But that'll have to be it for the Southside 60 podcast for the Brewers series. We won 2, lost 2. Got a couple guys injured. Like I said, Tim Anderson, I didn't mention him. He should be back beginning of next week, middle of next week, which should be good. Like I said, maybe we take the liberty of DHing Eloy for a couple games. Let him not have to go out there and play the outfield and just focus on hitting. But that'll be it. Southside 60 podcast. Catch us Monday morning or Monday midday after the Cleveland Indians series. Hopefully, I come back to you with a 2-1 series win or a 3-0 series sweep. I don't want to see them lose more than 2 games this weekend. All right, that'll be it. Thank you for listening.